Ooh, look at my funky ass hair. But welcome guys back to another episode. So in the last episode, you did kind of see I had a 6-month review for this Red Sea Reefer behind me. Um, since we, did do a 6-month review on the tank, we can actually also do a 6-month review on the lights that are up here. So these are the ORPHEK icons. I rather do a review after like a few months or a few weeks at least of use, just to see kind of what I like. But I figure since we've done it on the tank, we can go ahead and do it on the lights. And kind of a funny thing on the side note, I've done this take like 4 or 5 times, and for some reason I talk super fast, which really annoys me. I mean, it's not a bad thing, but I kind of want to take my time, make sure I get the information out, but I just been like zooming through it and messing up. It's been just the weirdest thing. All right, so kind of as we start, first things first, I did pay for the lights myself. They were not given to me. I did not get them for free, and I paid for them with my own money, so this is not a sponsored review. Everything I say is just my personal experience. There are some things that I like about the lights, some things I hate about the lights, but we'll go ahead and get through as much as I can. Alright, so first things first is going to be build quality of the lights. For the most part, I believe the entire thing is just kind of like aluminum. It's actually pretty solidly built. It's, kind of like a aluminum outside, but there's no give on the fixture itself. It is freakishly heavy though, at 15 pounds. But we'll get to that in a little bit. The bottom part right here is either plastic or acrylic, but it is super nice. It's nice and clean, and you can see each LED has its own individual lens. The only other things that I see here on the light are going to be the antenna, which I really don't understand why they couldn't just make this thing internal and, not have it there on the side. When they give it to you, you also have to screw it on, which is kind of inconvenient. And then there is just the one button on the light itself. I actually don't remember what it does because I've never had to use it. It might be like a power button, but like I said, never had to use it. Everything is on the app, and the app is super convenient. But yeah, that's pretty much it on the build quality of it itself. Now, the most popular question that I get on all my ORPHEK kind of videos, as far as like the light stand goes, is how do I mount this ORPHEK? So with this ORPHEK, it comes with this screw. They use that screw to hold the unit together, and so that screw itself fits perfectly in the 15 series extruded aluminum from 8020.net, also not sponsored. It's just something I happened to measure out and noticed, and yeah, it fits perfectly. It does not move. There's one on every corner, so the fixture itself is supported, and that nut goes straight through the aluminum. So it's gonna hold on. I don't see any reason why it would come off. So if you do decide to go ahead with the extrude aluminum, that is the one that I used. Now, ORPHEK does also make their own mounts, which I believe are an additional $100. I did not go with those for one very specific reason, and that is because they actually mount to the rim of your tank. And like I mentioned earlier, these guys are 15 pounds a piece. And some people did mention that once you do mount it, number one, you're putting 15 pounds of force onto that rim right there. And then once you have it on there, because it's so darn heavy, if you press on the icon, it'll actually like wobble a little bit. And that to me is just absolutely unacceptable for a light mount. So we went with, this guy right here. It doesn't move, like solid, absolutely solid on this extruded aluminum, absolutely perfect. Nothing I'll even have to worry about. I might even put another one right there in the middle. And next up, let's go ahead and talk about the light itself that it produces. So they do recommend a mounting height of 16 inches for this light, and I can clearly see why. So right here we actually have a perfect example of the different kind of like lens and spread you get with this fixture. So this ORPHEK and this Red Sea LED 90 are both mounted the same 16 inches off the water. With the Red Sea LEDs, they're definitely supposed to be mounted lower if you use their arm. And then, like I said, they recommend 16 inches off the water surface for the ORPHEKs. If you look at the back wall, you can see on the ORPHEKs, I have no light bleed whatsoever. All the light that is coming out of this fixture is going straight down into the tank. Versus the Red Sea LED, you can clearly see that there is, kind of a light bleed here, which is fine. It's not really a big deal, but you're definitely losing a little bit of light, by mounting this a lot higher. But like I said, it's really not meant to be. I'm just using it for now, just to make sure I have good enough coverage in the tank itself. Now, one thing I will not be mentioning with these lights is the PAR that I get, because number one, I don't have a PAR meter, so that kind of sucks. And then number two, you could just find that stuff online, so you don't really need me to, point it out in certain parts of the tank. I feel like that's kind of useless because every tank is different. But yeah, we won't be doing any PAR stuff, so that's why you won't see it. Now, on another note, the lights themselves are freakishly overpowered. I currently have them running at about 80% blues, and then like 25%-ish whites. I did at the beginning start it at 100%, and basically what I did was all the acros on top, I burned the living crap out of them. So even at this 16-inch height, it is definitely still putting a lot of PAR. So really, I don't find any reason to actually run this at 100%. Though you could, but also on the plus side, not having to run it at 100% means that this fixture will last a lot longer, because you aren't just running the LEDs at full power, which makes them burn out, which makes perfect sense. So lastly, let's go ahead and talk about the most important part, and probably why you would even want to watch this video, and that is the color of the light itself. How do I compare it to other units, for example, like the Red Sea LEDs, what I think of the light personally. So in my previous Red Sea 525, I did use the Reef LEDs. I used 3 of them. So the Reef LEDs are a little bit bluer, a little bit purpley as well, compared to the ORPHEKs. But the Red Sea LEDs do give a lot of good pop, which is one plus that I will give to it. Now, on the other hand, the ORPHEKs, they do give excellent spread, which I give them props on. So there's, good coverage, not a lot of dark spots anywhere in the tank. And the colors themselves, as you can see, are, great as well. Now, the one thing that I feel like the ORPHEK does not do all that well is push blues. So for example, like the Radion's, you have the Radion G6 Pros, then you have the Pro Blues. So if you want that extra blue color, that extra pop, you can get that model. Now, I figure the ORPHEK is actually going to be pretty similar to like a G6, where, if you wanted the blues, you would get something either different, or you get like a light bar. For example, like the ORPHEK, blue light bars, the Reef Brights, etc., etc. So when you have this set, even at just like a full intensity blue, to me in the tank, it actually doesn't make a lot of corals pop. It's actually pretty flat. You get good color, but you don't get good either fluorescence, and you don't get like a good separation of color. For example, like my frog spawn right here, it's actually bicolor, so there's purple and there's green. It kind of mutes the color a little bit. But like I said, the color itself is really good. It just doesn't really stand out. To me, it's kind of like looking at an old T5. It's just very, very plain, very neutral. There isn't a whole lot to it. But that itself is not really a bad thing, just because a lot of days, even if people get, for example, Kessels or Radions, they always get the light bars with it, which is why you have, for example, the new AI Blade, which is why you also have the new ORPHEK's 06, I guess, is it called an O6? And then you have, for example, Reef Bright XHOs, so on and so forth. So if you want the extra pop, you get those extra bars. So it also makes sense why this unit itself doesn't, push that much blues regardless. It's because you have those additional accent lights if you want that extra pop. But overall, the lights are really good. I definitely would keep them. The only additional thing I might do is add another one here in the middle. I was thinking actually of taking these lights, see how they're parallel with the main bar right here. I was actually thinking of turning this guy 90 degrees. I was thinking of having just 1, 2, and then 3 ORPHEK icons just in that 90-degree dimension, so it is basically face forward. And what that would do is, number one, it would put a couple more LEDs on the back and the front, which gives me even better spread. And then having that additional third unit would kind of, clear up this center that's definitely being underlit by the Reef LED. But that is pretty much it for today. Just to summarize, I would still definitely recommend the ORPHEK icons. If you want that additional pop, which I feel like it kind of lacks, you can go ahead and just get the additional blue bars, either ORPHEK or a different brand. And for the price, and sometimes their promotional prices, it is definitely worth it. It comes out to a lot cheaper than some other brands, for example, the Almighty Radions. But that is pretty much it for today. If you guys like this video, please consider subscribing and liking the video. But that is it for today, and I will see you on the next episode. Peace.